Thank you for joining us. I'm Barbara Kelzer, the chair of the Greeley Chamber's Local Government and Business Affairs Committee. I'd like to welcome you to the 2012 Candidates Forum. Our candidate forum sponsors include the City of Greeley, the Tribune, the Greeley Chamber of Commerce Local Government and Business Affairs Committee, and our Chamber Friends of Business supporters. This forum will feature, in alphabetical order, the candidates for House District 50, Skip Carlson and Dave Young. The order of speaking was determined prior to the start of the program. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for opening and closing statements. Each will then be given 2 minutes to respond to questions. A 1-minute rebuttal will be allowed. However, there will be no rebuttal to a rebuttal. The views expressed are those of the candidates and not necessarily those of the sponsoring organizations. The timer will give the candidate a 30-second warning and then a 10-second warning and a final stop sign. We ask our audience to please refrain from applause during the question and answer portion of the forum. Questions have been submitted by the Chamber's Local Government and Business Affairs Committee and will be drawn at random. The questions were submitted to the candidates prior to the forum. Members of the audience have also been asked to submit questions for the candidates as well. If you did not receive a card when you arrived, please hold up your hand and we'll make sure that you receive one. The candidates are expected to show respect for each other and their views, and we will expect that civility will guide all comments and your demeanor. At this time, I'd like to introduce our moderator, Randy Banger, editor of the Greeley Tribune.
Thank you, Barbara. And on behalf of the Greeley Tribune, I'd like to thank Dave and Skip for being here tonight. And I'd like to thank everybody in the audience, too. We have a good crowd here tonight, and it's nice to see that we have a significant number of folks in our community who value witnessing democracy in action as opposed to a football game. So thank you again for everybody being here. We will dive right into our opening remarks. And Dave, you won the coin toss, and you get to go first.
Very good. Good evening to everyone in attendance tonight, and for those of you that are watching on TV, I am Dave Young, and I'm the current state representative for House District 50. I want to thank first the Chamber of Commerce, Greeley Chamber of Commerce, for hosting this candidate forum, and I want to thank Barbara Kelzer and Sarah McQuitty for organizing it, and appreciate that. It's been an honor to serve the citizens of House District 50 in Greeley, Evans, and Garden City as the state representative over the past year. As a Colorado native, I can tell you Coloradoans are tired of partisan gridlock. Most of us know that neither party has a monopoly on good ideas. I'm proud of my record at the Capitol, working across the aisle to reach consensus, always putting the state of Colorado ahead of party and ideology. Teaching junior high for 23 years at Heath in Greeley is only part of my lifelong career in education. As just about everybody can tell, teaching 13 and 14-year-olds requires a person to develop patience and common sense. Those are the values I bring to the job of getting Colorado back on the right track. Although originally I was a math teacher, I got advanced training and took on new roles teaching technology and web design. I was fortunate to see some of my students use their skills to start businesses of their own. And as a matter of fact, I also saw additional training open new doors for me in the private sector. My sister is developmentally disabled, and my wife, Mary Young, is a school psychologist with a specialty in working with people with autism. I am a strong advocate for the disabilities community, and I'm working hard to ensure that those who are most vulnerable receive the resources and care they need.
Thank you, Dave. And Skip, it's your turn for your 2-minute opening remark.
I am Skip Carlson. I am a 4th-generation Weld County native. I graduated from what now is UNC as a math and physical education teacher. I went to work for CSU as a 4-H agent. After 4 years, I became the director of the Colorado 4-H Foundation. I have served on several state and county boards, including the Colorado Commission on Children and Youth. I now reside in Greeley, where I own a farmers agency, and I'm vice president of Zach's Legacy Foundation. Today, we are in a vicious cycle of high unemployment and underemployment. Taxes and fees are going up, and yet our quality of life doesn't seem to be going there. As a small businessman, we are being hit continually with more regulations and fees. Extra fees for water, gas, electricity, and more have made it difficult just to stay in business, let alone expand. I want to break that cycle. We are blessed to live in Weld County, one of few counties in the country with no long-term debt, no short-term debt, and no county tax. I would like to see that model exported to the state of Colorado. We can have a stronger economy, better schools, and a better state in which to live if we follow just a few simple rules. Make sure every dollar we get is used as wisely as possible. Make the government lean and mean in order to provide essential services of government. Provide incentives for those businesses and government agencies that flourish to continue in that vein. Plan for future growth by providing access to water and other natural resources. Do not spend money we don't have. Put some money away for future opportunities and shortfalls. In short, just like a family, I want my children educated as well as anyone. I want them to live in a safe, secure, and quality environment. I want to pass this on to my grandchildren. We can accomplish this with hard work and diligence. It is being done in Weld County.
Okay, thank you, Skip. And we will go back to Dave for our first question, which I will draw out of the basket here. The topic is water. Dave, both of you get 2 minutes to answer this, and then a 1-minute rebuttal is allowed. First question is, this summer's drought has highlighted the importance of water for agriculture and consumption. Would you advocate for more water storage in our area, or do you feel that water conservation alone is sufficient? Dave?
We live in high desert. Our ability to provide for future water needs requires us to work together. While conservation is certainly an important strategy in ensuring our future needs are met, we cannot rely on this strategy alone. We will also need more water storage and better land use.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Skip?
Well, as a Colorado native and a Weld County native, as I look up at those mountains, I can remember 3 times in my life when I didn't see any snow on those mountains. We are in a drought. This is a problem, and it could be a significant problem if we don't do something quickly. I am absolutely for NISP, the Northern Integrated Supply Project. My opponent has said several times that he's against that. There are several other water storage facilities that we could increase in size, and I'm certainly for that. We need to have that done.
Dave, would you like to use the rebuttal?
I would, thank you.
Okay.
Actually, I have never said I was against NISP. Actually, I am not a water expert, and I'll elaborate on the next question, but I've worked very diligently to understand water and make sure that I'm have a clearer understanding of how it works. But I was a junior high teacher. However, we have experts that are working to decide if NISP is a viable project, and I'm relying on their expertise in order to make a ruling on that particular project. I do believe, however, that the people that are proposing NISP have done a tremendous job of providing for the need. I think there's no doubt that there's need. And so I support the fact that we need to move forward with a project of some sort. I hope that the Army Corps will soon come with a response on that.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Our next question is actually about NISP, and I know you both have addressed that a little bit already, but I'll go ahead and ask it again if you want to elaborate. And Skip, you get to go first this time. Basically, the question is, do you support NISP? Why or why not?
I have been a supporter of NISP for many, many years. This has been studied and restudied by every legislative or every county and town in this area. Most of the areas, most of the towns have come on board. This is something that we certainly need. Unfortunately, in Loveland at the Northern Colorado Legislative Alliance, they asked this very question: do you support the integrated supply project? And Dave said at that time, no. Many people were there. I am for NISP. We definitely need to have that. We do need to have conservation also. As a former farmer, I realize how conservation is so very important. But NISP is absolutely important, as well as increasing the amount of water that we're able to put into Seaman and several other reservoirs. And there are other reservoirs too that have been approved by the Army Corps of Engineers, and we should go on with them.
Okay, thank you, Skip. Dave, do you support NISP, which I should elaborate and say stands for Northern Integrated Supply Project? It's a proposal by the Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District to build a big dam northwest of Fort Collins and another one near Gailton. Dave, do you support NISP? Why or why not?
As I said earlier, as opposed to what my opponent has said, I have never taken a position of opposition to NISP. I'm waiting to hear what the Army Corps of Engineers rules on that. I do think that the proponents of the plan have done an excellent job of establishing need. There's no doubt that there's need for water in northern Colorado. Everybody understands that. You know, I don't have the expertise to look at the details of a project and decide, is that a viable project or not? That's why we have the Army Corps of Engineers. I think it's unfortunate that it's taken as long as it has in order to work through the process. And so I was pleased that that Governor Hickenlooper issued a call for the Army Corps to speed up the process and get a response back to the folks in northern Colorado that have really diligently been working to try to put together this project. They're owed and they deserve an answer on that project, and I hope it comes soon.
Okay. Skip, you have the option if you want to use your rebuttal.
Well, once again, as a former farmer, as a Weld County native, when my ancestors came into this country, there was no water, there were no trees. Without that, we wouldn't have what we have in Greeley, one of the greatest towns in the country. It just simply wouldn't happen. We have to look into the future. W.D. Farr did that. Benjamin Eaton did that. It's time that we do it, and that has been approved. And in fact, I appreciate the fact that Governor Hickenlooper has now said, yes, we probably should go on with NISP, and that's a good thing. I just hope that Dave will get on board.
Okay, thank you, Skip. Move on to the next question, and Dave, you get this one first, and the topic is health care. The issue of a government mandate to require employers to offer health insurance to employees has raised concerns for many businesses. First question in this topic is, do you support the Affordable Health Care Act?
Thank you. So for America to remain competitive, we must maintain and improve health for all citizens. The Affordable Care Act is already helping to produce better health care for many Americans. Is it a perfect bill? No, but it's a step in the right direction. We need to press Congress to continue to improve this law. Already Americans are having better health outcomes as a result of this law being in effect. But in the bigger picture, we need to promote more preventative care so that people stay healthier longer.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Skip?
Do I support an affordable health care program? Absolutely, I do. In 1982, I was a part of a brain group that got together and said, let's look at this health problem. We need to work on some things and we need to do some things. One of the things that we discussed there was having a program whereby you could move from state to state and have various health care programs in that same state. That's finally now being implemented. This isn't the act that we need. I would challenge to find any one person. I would love to talk to that person who can say I am better off today than I was before because of this Affordable Health Care Act. Basically because not most of it has happened. It hasn't even taken place. And in many instances, we need to have work to see that this is done. I ran into a gentleman the other day as I was out walking, and he said, we have so many people that don't have health care. Well, in the United